my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and it's the Monday special, and it's extra special. I convinced Stephen to display his Black Terrors and Mile High Alex Schomburg collection. So it's some pretty big books. It's going to be a pretty awesome show. I brought a few books as well. Like I don't have as many raw books. This is all my Alex Schomburg raw books, but I do have some pretty cool ones mixed in there. So it should be a pretty good show. I'll try to keep up my end. um, now, so hi, Stephen. I guess I have to say hi to you first.
Hello, Alan. How are you?
Could be better. Surviving, surviving, surviving. So yeah. So let's say hi to the chat. Hi to the
Sure.
chat. And okay, wait a sec here. Okay, we got Collecto 6 is the first actually. He was the first to come here. The biggest show, the greatest books I've ever done. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for coming to watch today. Best Stephen. Very nice. Very nice comment.
Thank you.
I don't know who that person is, but seems like a
I'm
nice guy.
I it's this is coming right from my heart because this is going to be huge today. Big.
Okay, so cool. So then we got K Munin.
Hello. Hi, Andreas.
And then we have Collecto 6 again. Then we have Eric Casagrande.
Mr. Casagrande.
And then we have Matt. Hey, Matt.
Big Matt. On the heels of our great on the heels of our great Superman show on Sunday, I hope everybody gets a chance to swing by and take a look at that. We showed a lot of Lois Lanes and had a lot of laughs with Nate and Matt both. It was a lot of fun.
I wish I could have attended. I'm sorry that I didn't attend, Matt.
That's all right. We figured you were busy. That's all right.
I was busy. I was doing two things. One, I was recovering. I was like really iffy all weekend, actually. And then the other thing was I was watching an auction. So I got 3 books for $4, or no, 4 books for $1 each.
It's just an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing sometimes. And your Silver Age books that you showed today, there are a lot of steals that if you go and look other places like eBay or elsewhere, the heritage sales for the grades of those books the people were stealing the books. I wonder about Heritage. If I always I say, well, Heritage will get my books to sell. I'm a little bit.
They can be hit or miss. Like sometimes
I'm a little bit. I don't want to be there when it misses. I can tell you. I don't want to.
I think
I'm sure I'm sure the other sellers didn't want to have that happen either.
I think the reason they were missing this week, in a way, is that they had the Prime auction.
They had the Prime, and then this is
all the power
all the juice. All the juice is sucked out. Yeah.
But it's good for buyers. Like as I said, I got 4 books, $1 each. Except for the buyer's premium, which is annoying. But yeah. But somebody outbid me on one of them. There was a 5th book that I was going for, and they outbid me. I was like, oh.
They spent more than $1?
Yeah, I was like, so
the
annoyed.
Nerve of those people.
And actually, I realized I should have stepped up and gone $3. But oh well. We'll keep on saying hi to these people. Hi, Robbie.
Hi, Robbie.
And one sec here. And then we got. I think that's everyone.
Well, no, you have a lot
JSS. Yeah. It doesn't display the best for me.
You have AG up above. Hello, AG.
Mike Pope.
And of course, Thomas O'Donnell. Mike,
Big
yes.
Nasty. Actually, I got to arrange a time with Big Nasty to interview him.
Kenny Numbers.
Kenny Numbers. Kenny. AG. Hi, AG.
Aubrey.
And I think that's it. Is it? Oh, Bleeker's here. Oh my goodness. Hi, Bleeker.
Hi, Bleak. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy the show.
Okay, I think. No, wait. I got another one.
J. Heggie.
J.
Heggie. And
Heggie.
there's Christina Page.
Oh, okay. Wait at the end.
Payne. Christina Payne. Hi, Christina.
One sec here.
And
And
Big
Lyle's here.
Lyle.
Big
Big
Lyle's here too.
Lyle.
Okay, and Nerd Culture with Chunko.
And Chonko.
Chunko. Okay, wow. Okay, now I think I got everybody.
Fair enough.
Okay. Sorry guys, I'm really trying. It's actually better. I did open it up a bit, so it's a little bit better.
Little
Um,
bit.
a little bit better. Okay, so I'm not sure how many rounds we'll do, but we have a lot of books to show. So how we just get right into it, and
Do you want me to lead off? Because
yeah, you can.
I have more.
Yeah, you have more, so you
Okay.
can go first.
Okay, I just want to give a preface to this. Um, when I sold my first collection, the very first thing that I did was I dedicated myself to collecting Alex Schomburg. And what you will see here tonight is the culmination of 37 years of collecting Alex Schomburg books. And when I would buy a book, it would go in and they never came out. None of my Schomburg books, whenever I got one in, I kept it. And I was, and back and this would have been from in 88, there were a lot more books that were floating around that really were not all of that well known. And as a result, some of the titles that where Schomburg was, because everybody knows that he was in Timely, but what people don't know that he was also in Standard Nedor. He was also in Harvey Comics. He also did the Gaiety, these magazine things, which is one of the rarest, coolest images he did. He did science fiction. He did paperback books. He did crossword puzzles. He did Stargazer things. He did patriotic stuff for Whitman Publishing during the war. I mean, there are any number of things that he did. He really was. It was certainly that he was not bound by any particular company because he worked for umpteen different companies, and that doesn't even include all the science fiction work that he did coming into it and through it and going out of it. So his output as an artist, the wonderful stuff that he could create. There's a world of Schomburg things that one can find that are extremely amazing stuff. So I will start out right now. Here is All New Comics number 7. Now, this is a Harvey book, and Mr. Schomburg, Alex, the way he would do different companies' books, he had little twists and turns that he would add to various companies, but the characters, the characterizations of the heroes, and how he would crowd the covers and what have you was very much him. The thing about All New, it has the red blazer, and the red blazer only appears in the 2-page text story so that they could get the magazine price for postage. So here you have the hero, the red blazer with a cool costume, and what it is it's the little boy heroes is what you get inside.
Why is it? Why, it's so weird. Why would they do that?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But that's what it was. And so I can remember the first one of these I bought in 88. And I'll show it to you. And just the next book I have is the first one of these I bought. Um, I went through the book and I'm trying to find the Red Blazer story. I want to watch the and his sidekick's name is Sparky. So the Red Blazer and Sparky. What does it say here? Um, Into the dungeon of death crashes Red Blazer and Sparky, just in time to help the boy heroes rescue the girl hostage from a grueling torture. Read the story behind the cover. And the story behind the cover is a 2-page text story.
That's
But
such a
that's the way
letdown.
but that's the way they did it. So
That's
um,
really sad.
it's I posted this book today because this is the best one of the all news.
Mm.
This book I bought for $75, I said in my post. This cover has virtually every single trick, every single visual cue that Schomburg had in his arsenal that he used in all the different companies. And so you have the hooded guy up above there, the KKK guy with the hood. You've got another
Mhm.
hooded guy down here with a scimitar. You got
What's the
this.
black guy? Like
I
the
don't know. Just hold on now. Let me tell my story.
okay, okay.
Um, there's the Swami up at top, about ready to knife the guy that's hosing the Germans down with a machine gun. You have the pirate boy hero slugging this scimitar wielding guy in the gut. You have two Germans who are the taxi driver kid is bayoneting the guy in the heart on the cover.
Oh, jeez.
Then you've got the other, so you got three Nazis in deep trouble. Then you've got the frail in the yellow dress, legs akimbo, in bondage. Bad things about to happen. As Gorgo, the Nazi belt buckled thug behemoth Gollum, about to do that, where the Red Blazer's going to settle his hash. And then you have Sparky punching this weird cat mask Nazi boy with the mechanical claw hand. I mean, what
Wow.
more could you put into a cover?
Hmm.
So in doing the research for my Instagram post today, I'm taking a little bit more time with this because
Yeah,
we don't
it's a
have the
good one.
time. I'm taking a little bit of time with this because it's the best one of this title, and one of the definitive Schomburg covers, which you just don't see. I was looking up. I always look up the census on these, and it's been a long time since I had like 25 books. There were very, very few of them, and in this grade, it's like a $5,500 book and up.
So what grade would you say it is?
It's at least a five. My guess is that it's a 5.5, and if they went like this, it's a 6.
Wow.
But they never go like this.
Yeah, they always
Um,
seem to catch you on some weird thing.
Here is now you'll see this one is not as crowded as the number 8, but this is the number 11, and here they are taking on a Japanese tank. The pirate kid is shooting the Jap right in the teeth. The cowboy guys roping the Japs, and the Americans are coming ashore. And the kid with the machine gun is up in the palm tree with a Thompson hosing them down.
Is that's issue number 11, right?
This is issue number 11, and issue 8 was the one that had all the stuff.
Issue 8 was the previous one. How many were in the series of all new?
I honestly don't. There are a bunch. The Schomburg ones. There are only about there. I think there are 2 or 3 more that I don't have. The rest of them are
Okay.
other. They're all good, but but those 3 Schomburg ones, and they're in beautiful condition, because again, at the time, no one collected this stuff.
Mhm.
$75, $85, $65. That's all
Wow.
they brought. Same thing with Standard Nedor. Standard Nedor was 75 to 100.
Wow. That'd be nice. I'd love to pick up the books at that
But
price.
but understand, this is 37 years ago.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
here
that's nice.
is
Yeah, I could almost do twinsies, but I don't want to show slabs today. So
I'm
mine's a slab.
purposely not showing slabs.
Yeah, we're both doing raw dog today, guys. So just so you know.
Ew, ew. Um, the first the first America's Best that has a Schomburg cover is this one. I think it's 1942. And this is when the books were a lot bigger here. This is a
Yeah,
larger
it
book.
looks a little larger. It looks
Yeah, it's
wider
a
and
large.
yeah.
It's wider and taller too.
Yeah.
But here is the Black Terror. The Black Terror for Standard Nedor was their flagship character. And this is before the Fighting Yank, as you can see, because you've got Pyroman, Doc Strange, and the last guy is what, Mr. Liberty or the Liberator. They have another one called the Lone Eagle. Oh no, there's the Liberator. I think is the lightning bolt fell in the back. Early.
Actually, I
Here
didn't
is
bring my fighting Yanks, strangely. I should have brought those.
I'll be showing. Here is this great one of the best propaganda covers, where you have all 3 of them being confronted by our heroes. It's the Phantom Eagle. The American Eagle is the guy, the red, white, and blue, and then Pyroman, Doc Strange, and the Black Terror. And you have Schomburg has a great sense of humor because he signed the Schomburg on the wastebasket.
And I like the fact that they put Mussolini under the desk and Hitler,
The
and it's just like,
craven, the
yeah.
craven. I mean, they vilified these clowns all the time,
Hmm.
and you know that the they say, oh, this some people these people that don't understand history, oh, it's stereotyping. You shouldn't do that. Do you understand what they were saying about us? And do
Oh
you
yeah.
also understand they were trying to end us and
Yeah.
enslave us? I mean, please, for the people who do get irritated about that, please do me a favor. Understand your history. If you don't
Hmm.
care for that stuff, please understand how important this was, because we were in deep trouble. After the Japanese bombed us, we had no army, we had no navy, we had the Pacific and we had the Atlantic, and we had Canada and we had Mexico, and that's why we weren't invaded. I mean, it
Hmm.
was that close. The technology wasn't there. This is a classic cover
America
where
Press. Yeah.
they basically, the representation of stomping on the Japanese and the Germans, and you will note that Doc
Hi.
Strange, hello from Italy.
Yeah.
You
That's
will notice
interesting.
that Doc Strange is carrying the Russian flag because Stalin has come over to our side now.
Yeah.
Pyroman has the Chinese flag, and the Liberator has the American Eagle has the British flag.
Yeah. It's sort of funny that they they have the communist flag there, like in like only a few years later. It's like the other way around.
Well, if there wasn't a second front, that's what Stalin wanted. I'm not going to go into much history
Hmm.
on this. Here is a great one I got. Here, the Doc Strange has got a flamethrower, and he has ignited this Japanese soldier, burning him alive,
Wow.
right on the cover.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
And you'll see that the Fighting Yank has now joined the crew on the cover.
Nice.
I Alex Schomburg is my favorite Golden Age artist. He has been since my eyes were open to him in '88, and I just said, what am I doing? And so I went in all in. Sometimes you say, well, why would you sell your collection? How don't you have an attachment to it? The answer is, of course, I did. But I had grown to the point was because most of my collection was in the 4 to 5 O range for grading. Because I was younger and I didn't have any money. But I was a completist and I wanted to put it all together. So when I got the chance to then, the pendulum had swung to Silver Age, which is all what I had. And I got a very, very bountiful credit for my collection. And with all that money in hand, I went out and whatever was in the marketplace, I just drained it because I realized even at that point that if I wanted to get these books, I should do it in haste because I didn't know how many there were. I didn't know all the companies. I didn't know anything. And it's a very unnerving feeling to have to be sitting there waiting to find it out. It's scary. I'll show a few more, Alan, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
This one I got just a little while ago from Bigby McFly, the comic guy. I've never seen this cover
Yeah,
before.
I was trying to get that one for the longest time.
I
I was
know,
sad when he
I
sold
know.
it to you. It's like so sad.
So the Japs' treacherous plot and the place is on fire and bodies are falling out of the building and stuff.
Mm.
It's just a great Green Hornet cover.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Schomburgs actually. I really love that cover.
This one I got way back in the day, and this is one of the first times that I realized that Harvey, which also did Green Hornet, had Schomburg, and here they are doing uh, a great propaganda cover that the Japanese are trying to fool everyone into thinking that they're sinking our battleship or whatever. One more. I only have one more Green Hornet. Now, this actually, ladies and gentlemen, is not a Schomburg cover. I thought it was,
Oh, I thought
but
it was too, actually.
but
Who's it?
it's somebody who isn't Schomburg. Um, maybe Mr. Atkinson can tell us. Hello, Adrift. Um,
Hi,
uh,
Adrift. And hi, Effie.
FFE, bonjour. Jean te Blumeret. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Coupe de ville. French fries. Here is the Green Hornet, but I thought
The
this
main
with the
topic is Alex Schomburg comics. Okay, it's all Alex Schomburg covers.
And I will now turn it over to Alan. But before I do, I decided that what I would do in honor of Mr. Schomburg, because he is my favorite and so much of my focus was him, I decided to pull out all the stops and show you guys from on my wall the best books I could show you. I would take out my top 12 books, just and personal preference top 12 books. Um, I have Captain America #1, Batman #1, Weird Tales 74 that I just got. I unveiled that on last Monday. Betty and Veronica 50 and an 80, which are the Archie 50. There is the candy bar cover. There is Startling 49. There's it's a Dynamic 11, is it? I think. Adventure 247, Seven Seas 6, Captain America 46, the Holocaust cover, the Spirit 21, I think, or 22, whichever that is, with
I think it's 22. 22.
22, and then Seven Seas #4. And then I also then have the Gaiety #1 from September of 1941, which is probably one of the rarest Schomburg images that there is, and one of the largest and most beautiful ones, and that is where my icon, my avatar is from, is this piece right here. So again, and I'm going to turn it over to Alan. It has taken me all of my collecting, I mean, effort and money and everything else to do this, and I won't say that I fixated on it, but I did. I fixated on him. So that when I would tell you people, when I've mentioned before that I sold it, I would sell the first Red Hood. I sold the first copy of that Weird Tales that I have, the 74 right there. I sold that one, and when I sold all these books, I was buying Schomburg books, and
Mhm.
these are the Schomburg books that I was buying. These are the things that I went after for those books that I was selling, so that I
Oh,
could get as much Schomburg as I could.
it's Jerry Robinson did the cover.
Thanks, Thomas O'Donnell. I knew it wasn't.
Thank you.
I thought it is laid out very, very Schomburg like. And I
Hmm.
bought it, and when I got home, I said, "Wait a minute, something isn't quite right." And that's that. And there's nothing wrong with Jerry Robinson either. Jerry Robinson tried to take credit for people's work that he didn't do too.
Yeah,
Um,
it might have been Alex Schomburg, but then Jerry Robinson
no,
took
no,
credit.
but Jerry Robinson actually did that with first cover of on Fair 40. Oh, I'm having my brain's going. I will let you go, Alan. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me change the layout here. So yeah, so I'm gonna start from the beginning actually. So Alex Schomburg's very first works were actually in like instructional manuals where he did like for typewriters and stuff like that. But his first artwork where he was more of in stories and where it was story related were in the pulps. And the very first pulp that he did was Startling Stories. Do you have this one too, Stephen?
I do not have that one.
Okay, this is the very first like I guess published artwork by Alex Schomburg.
Now, it's the first commercial comic book art
Yeah,
that he did because he
yeah,
worked in a movie studio,
hmm
and his artwork graced movie screens as where they would roll the credits. But the guy Hugo Gernsback was the name. This impresario guy was the
hmm
one who hired Alex to do these things, and he was very happy to have him.
yeah. This is from 1939, so and it's before Daring Mysteries is the first actual comic book which has Alex Schomburg's art in it. So I have all the ones from like well not all. I mean I have a collection of thrilling, exciting, and all those kind of standard. Is it standard Nedor?
Yes, it
Issue?
is,
Yeah, yeah.
or just plain neater. It's Ned Pines is who
Ned
this
Pines,
is.
Ned Pines, yeah, yeah. So these are the thrilling ones, and these are mostly airbrush covers. I really like Alex Schomburg's airbrush covers,
They called him the king of the airbrush. They
and
called him the
usually,
king.
when he did the airbrush covers, more so than the other covers, he actually would sign it Zila, which is Alex backwards, and that's kind of his trademark for the airbrush covers. So I thought it was because he was trying to hide his identity, but actually he for some reason did this with the airbrush covers.
I think he's just having fun.
Yeah, it could be.
God forbid the guy have some fun.
Now this next one's a bit mangled. It looks like somebody put their cup on it, but but it is it's one of the first ones I got of the thrilling ones. It's really rough. You can see like the bindings all falling apart. It's just, but it's I really like Alex Schomburg, so I was happy to just pick it up in any grade.
It is a
Um,
testament. It is a testament to the Iger House of Art and the companies that use them as packagers, because the
mhm,
comics are almost invariably are extremely well loved because they
mhm,
were read and read and read and read, and that's why finding these books in nice condition nowadays is a very uh, 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 random thing that you can do. It doesn't happen very much.
mhm.
Back in the late 80s, though, it hadn't really crossed over quite yet.
So yeah, so this next one you'll see it's not airbrush, and he signs it Schomburg, and actually this is my dupe. I actually have two of these. My other one's a slab. I got a better graded copy. This one was a little rough, but this is actually the very first cover appearance of Princess Panther.
Cool.
So yeah, so I like my female characters. I like getting their first appearances, and then if they're not on the cover, I like to get their first cover appearance.
You should do a book about the Vixens of the Golden
I
Age.
should. That'd be a really good idea. Like yeah, and that's a good name, Vixens of the Golden Age. That's great. I wish I had thought of that. Um, so, and then we got some more thrilling. I like this one. She's like stabbing the alligator, like just like such a dynamic cover. With the interesting thing about these compared to the ones that you were showing, when he was working for Marvel, he would do very like crazy covers in terms of just the sheer number of things on them. When he worked for Nedor, it was more just good girl, simple, very but still dynamic, but simpler covers.
Now, when I get to the Black Terrors and the Excitings, you're going
Hmm.
to see, and there's a very specific reason. They focused more so
On the characters.
on the characters, giving
Hmm.
them more front page to make them stand out. The fashion of the busy covers like Harvey and Timely had, they just there were things different. Plus, the airbrush covers were an entire departure where you went by the beauty of the cover rather than the
Hmm.
frenetic nature of the cover.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, they're still very dynamic. I mean, look at this. They're splashing. There's the crocodile is or alligator or whatever it is flopping around. I think it's a crocodile probably. And then just such a cool cover. So
Is
and
Alex your favorite character? Is your favorite
yeah, he's
artist
my
as well?
favorite. Yeah,
AG
so
was asking.
so it goes Alex Schomburg, then LB Cole, then Matt Baker would be my top three.
Boy, can't you pick anybody good?
Yeah, yeah. So not all Alex Schomburgs are super utterly expensive. There actually are still some affordable ones. I think I picked this up for like $10. And this is like later in the thrilling where, it's not the airbrush covers, but it's still Alex Schomburg. But yeah. So there's that. I'm gonna show my excitings and then I'll switch it back to you.
Okay, buddy.
Okay. And then so the excitings had a lot of airbrush covers as well. So and this is Tara. Is it Tara? Judy of the Jungle. I was trying to remember my names. I just keep on. I say names until I get the right one.
Well, now Tara
I know,
was
I know, I know. That's why I corrected
science
myself.
fiction. No,
Yes,
she was
yes.
not
She's the
jungle.
pirate.
Space
I
pirate.
yes. So yeah. So this is Judy of the Jungle. I just had to remind myself. Um. I like this one. It's kind of like a interesting bondage one, where
I
she's
think
like,
it's a great cover. I
where she's
really
cutting
do.
the
It's
net. And,
these comic book covers tell a story. They are not pinups. They tell
mhm.
a story with pinup art.
Yeah, I mean it's really great. I mean she's like obviously trapped. She's trying to cut her way out, But you got the natives in the background. They're obviously not going to do good things to her. So it's just like it's just a really cool cover. Um, and this is later again later in the exciting and in the thrilling runs. It went back to just sort of non-airbrush covers. So this is like later. The later ones are not as expensive because of that. I think people really do like the airbrush covers better, but they're
Well, they
still dynamic.
also during the war is where he made his name for himself by the wonderful propaganda covers that he did, and the
Hmm.
care and the complexity that he put into them, because there is no one like Alex Schomburg. There literally is no one like him.
Yeah, I mean,
It was Jack Burnley that Jerry Robinson tried to take credit for.
okay.
And then another couple guys basically said, "No, you didn't do that, Jerry." "Oh, yes, I did." So it's interesting when you hear there's a certain amount of fussy going on with the
Hmm.
creators. I hate it when mom and dad fight.
I'm not sure when they switched over to in terms of years. I think it's like when did they? Do you know what approximate
40,
year
40, 47 to 48 into 9 tend to
was
are the
where the
airbrush ones,
airbrush?
and then depending upon his schedule or what he was contracted for, then they went away, because I think that I have to believe that he charged more for the airbrush covers for sure,
I would imagine, yeah. I mean,
because
they're much more complicated.
there's a lot more work to him.
So yeah, so these are the non-airbrush ones at the end. I tried to get the last few issues just because I like to have the bookends of any comic series. So these are, but I still think even though they're not the beautiful airbrush covers that everybody loves, they're still very dynamic. I mean, there's lots going on. You got the coach kind of flopped over. You got the girl leaping to the guy. Lots of stuff happening despite not being airbrush. Okay,
Hello,
I'll
Louis
show you.
V.
Oh, and hi. Okay, and then we got this one's a really great one too.
We'll be doing twinsies on that one, or I could. I'll you'll see mine later.
Okay, you can show yours later. But
Yeah,
this is actually this one's it doesn't look the prettiest. I gotta take the bag out. The bag is not doing it
that
justice.
doesn't. It really looks awful.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice copy. It's just the bag is rimply. I gotta switch out the bag. Believe it or not, this is from my comic shop, and normally they have nice bags, but not in that case.
Especially on a book like that, they usually will rebag them.
Yeah, one sec here. This
Or the
one's
people sending them in, when they buy them, already had them in nice bags to begin with. It's
yeah,
unusual that they do that, but they do that.
yeah. One sec. This next one I realize is I gotta unbag it here.
Hello, Mr. Steve Driscoll.
Okay, so I'm just taking it out. See, I don't know. Something about these bags. Oh, rimply.
Now look at her expression. His expressions will change a little bit as well. I like that
Mhm.
she's really
He's passed
torqued.
out and she's trying to save
No,
him.
she's really torqued by the snakes coming in. I predict the snakes will not survive.
Yeah, it looks like she's about to like grab the snake by the neck or something like that with her hand. Like it's just like she's doing that kind of motion.
It's
But yeah,
still the composition of this. I mean, what
it's
Alex
a
gives
it's a
you.
wrinkly bag. I almost I have like there's tape is too solid, but
If I had a nickel for every time I heard you say you're going to have to replace the bag, someone wants to know if you want to do a GoFundMe for a Mylar.
go fund me for milers. Maybe. Okay, last exciting is this one.
We'll be twinsies. I have the mile high of that.
Oh wow, really? Oh wow.
Yeah, you'll be seeing that soon
I,
again.
I I hadn't seen this cover when it just appeared on eBay. It was the first time I saw it and I grabbed it. It was the guy actually had it for a really low price. So I was like, okay. Um,
That is one of the and the nice thing about that is you see the gears and the sprockets and
I know I like the
the
robot.
springs, all the springs and stuff. And if you look closely, I'll show you on mine too. Um, Tim
Oh, there.
has a bat that has spikes in it, and
Oh yes.
he's gonna brain that guy right on the skull with that.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this one, it must be like I think it must be earlier in the run for Alex Schomburg because it's more similar to his Marvel stuff where he's got a lot more details going on.
Well,
The
look at the
only
number. The number will tell you because you
Yeah,
the other
it's not
exciting.
it's only it's number 45. I'm not sure how soon that is in terms of
Well,
Alex
it's very near
Schomburg's
the end of the
work.
war. It's just very near the end of the war.
Hmm. Okay, so those are I still have another half stack to go, but yeah, I'll switch back to you.
A lot of the books that I also got, other than the dealer that I had sold my collection to, was a guy named David Alexander, and Dave turned me on to any number of different genres. He turned me on to Fiction House. He turned me on to Standard Nedor. That's where I got that gaiety from him. It just and all the Loon books that a lot of those were the Seven Seas Six. That is a Loon book right there. It's just over the years you say, well, God, how do you keep running into all this stuff? Remember, this is decades, and it's boredom and nothing, punctuated by momentary gouts of stuff. And I
Mhm.
had mentioned this to some other on Matt's show, is that if you are at a shop and someone's collection comes in that sells their collection, who took the time to put it together, if there are books there that you like and you can swing it, even if it hurts, it's best to get as many as get the ones you know you want, get the ones you think you want, and get the ones that you almost aren't sure, but you get them anyway. And then by having volume, you can command the best discount. And because if you have to go back and take another bite of the apple, it's going to be more expensive. And I know this. I learned it the hard way. Please profit from me. Here is Marvel Mystery Comics 59. This is during the
Nice.
war where the Japanese are torturing some GIs. And what they're doing is they're trying all manner of poisons and gas and horrible things to them, toxic poisons and everything else. They're testing out on these poor soldiers. And the Torch Toro, if you look up above, he's flown through who was it? Toro's flown through one of the guys up on top in the balcony. There's always a balcony or there's an alcove
Yeah, I
or
don't know
there's
why there's always balconies, but yeah.
but you see, any other artist wouldn't give you that. But
Hmm.
Schomburg did. Look at the equipment. They got a compressor running down here with tubes and all this other stuff. He puts a parquet stone floor down for him. I mean, come on. It's just incredible. Anyway, but this is another. This one is an extremely important historically. Here is a great cover that has the big three. Actually, Mussolini's gone by now, but you have Goering, Hitler, and you have Goebbels. And they are basically have gone to Tempelhof Airport in Berlin and they're trying to escape. But Torch and Toro are coming in and they're fighting through and all this. Very interesting thing. Schomburg always would put notes and everything on people so you knew who they were. Who is it? So
Hmm.
he'd always
Yeah.
put little tags on them. The thing about this one that is so poignant historically is that if you remember your history of the Second World War, towards the end of the war, they tried to assassinate Hitler. They had this bomb that they placed underneath the conference table, and they blew Schaffenheim or whatever the guy's name was, and it blew up, but the table was so substantial, all it did was hammer him really badly. It didn't kill him.
Yeah, he
And
got
he
injured though.
and
He was
he
pretty injured by it, but
and you'll notice that he is carrying Schomburg put him carrying a crutch.
oh wow.
And that's because Schomburg paid attention to the news to put that in there. Are there any other artists that do that? The answer is no.
Hmm.
Alex Schomburg is the guy that does that. This particular cover is exceptionally good because it has all the evil Nazis trying to escape, and Torch and Toro are putting it to them. And incidentally, the stamp up on the top is a guy named Alvin. And you will find Alvin covers. He was evidently testing his stamp on this one. Alvin covers are, you will find them, if you will see them. And you'll wonder, and I had the Alvin cover to an Alvin stamp book of Big All American Comics, the annual.
Hmm.
And it was a raw book, and I read that thing over and over and over and over again. And I couldn't stand that stamp on it. Big blue stamp, boom, right in the middle of the book.
Well, that's really annoying.
It's just annoying. This one came from a vacation home at Lake Tahoe, and they were cleaning out
Adrift
drawers,
wants to collect Alvins and
bonnets and
bonnets.
Alvins. You'll have a lot to choose from.
There's a
The
lot of them.
bonnets, there's a lot of bonnets. This one was in a drawer when they were cleaning out a cabin, a vacation cabin up at Lake Tahoe. Some kids must have left, and they just left it there.
Wow.
And the dealer that I got this from, they came and they said, "Hey, we found this in the house, our vacation house. Are you interested?" And he took it. And it's a beautiful copy. And there's no. It's just the color strike is just dynamite. Hitler's up there in the corner, up there on the top, watching the proceedings as they run the spiked road grader over
Yeah,
the
I've never seen
injured.
those spiked road graders. That's really odd.
It's and there is a recurring theme, and you will see this as we go
Hmm.
for for road grading and other implements of destruction.
Hmm.
Here is the Black Cat Shock Gibson, and this is in Speed Comics, and this is another Harvey. And you don't really generally think that Speed Comics would have Schomburg, but by God, Schomburg's there.
Yeah.
Isn't
I
this an
actually tried to
amazing?
pick up that book. That's a good one. I was trying to get all the Black Cat covers.
You'll notice and he always would, the rockets generally always would be red. The super rocket. And they've got all these guys, the Nazi flag, the planes going over the tanks, firing machine guns. And the Black Cat's having a ball. She's laughing and smiling as they're tearing the hell out of these Nazis. Isn't that just a great look at the
Yeah, it's a great
composition of
cover.
this cover? It's
So
just
much going on.
it's just great. Now, here's one where it isn't as
I don't
frenetic.
have it. No, I don't have that one adrift.
This one is not as frenetic, but it absolutely is quintessential Alex Schomburg. And here he is writing on a flying torpedo, as are the Black Cat.
Do they reflect
No,
this? No,
no,
I
no,
think it's
they
just
do not.
purely
No,
to sell. Purely to sell.
no, no. They don't. If it did, it would. And my dream, my hopes were like with Red Blazer. I said, "Oh, please let there be this story in there." Nah, it's not. It's the cover, and the
Yeah, it's a
cover
cover
sells.
art.
But all these ships going up the river, okay, all the ships. They got a refinery down here. It's American, and this is before we had jet aircraft. And yet Schomburg, with his science fiction training and science fiction stuff, paying attention to this, put jet engines and rocket engines into his covers.
Hmm.
And
Well,
you've
he
got
also did pulps with airplanes, so he kind of had that experience where he was.
yes, and he and his brother August Schomburg,
Hmm.
August, who did a lot of that. But look at this. Look at the composition. They've got these planes winging in formation, thus one after the other, rotating as they come in.
It's almost like he's
It's
on a drone. The fact that he's like able to ride it. Do you know
He's
what I mean?
riding, yes, but he's riding. You see, it has little stirrups in the back for his feet, and
Hmm.
then he drives it. And he has machine guns in the nose and on the sides.
That's really odd.
Isn't that it? Just, but it's so quintessentially Schomburg.
Hmm.
Now, now we shift into
So
startling.
these aren't the mile highs yet. We're getting those will be at the end.
The mile highs are at the end, and those are the excitings and the black terrors.
Black Terrors.
Okay. Here is startling number 51, an airbrush cover of absolutely beautiful. The
I
guy's
have that,
driving
but
his,
I don't know where that is.
and here's the guy driving his space car. And they
Oh,
always have,
wait. I gotta do something. I just found it. One sec here. Yeah. I figure we can do twinsies on that one. Okay. I'll go back to you now.
ladies and gentlemen, isn't this stuff just so cool? I mean, and this is, when I got a Batman book or something like that, and I could sell it for some money and I could get this kind of stuff, I did it.
Mhm.
Because I preferred this. I figured there's a lot more Batman than this kind of stuff there is, that I could come back later on and get it. When you're presented with this stuff, always look at it like this, as that it's a target of opportunity. Because
Mhm.
if you pass on it, understand there's a damn good chance you'll never see it again. And that's the way I approach this. I would always go as I would, if I saw it, I would get it if it looked nice.
Steve, what are you doing
It,
here? He's saying yours are richer in blues. I gotta train the audience to like be on my side more.
I think that,
I don't know what's going on.
in fairness, I think part of it is Alan's lighting. And I also have a brand new computer that has a much better camera in it than Alan's does. And
Hmm.
so the resolution, you can actually see so much more of my stuff with this than my first, the computer I had before. And one
That
of the
is
reasons,
that is true. My bags have more wrinkles, so that's my claim to
well,
fame.
what I did instantly is I know that Mylar is expensive, but I invested in Mylar for these books very, very early on because you
Hmm.
do it once and you're done, and you take care of them, and it protects them. It's UV reflective. It's and of course, but these aren't out. These
Hmm.
books are never out. I think I've shown these books in my showing career. I don't believe I've ever shown this entire string of
Hmm.
Schomburg books before. This is a first time for me. I've shown some, but I haven't shown all, and these are all the raw ones I have. And I don't mind them being raw. Japanese secret strategy. Gee, I think we might want that. I think we'll do. I think. And look, they're carving up the United States. Oh,
It
let's
was
see.
nice of
Well,
them. It was nice of them to write it in English so that just in case you didn't know.
again, super Schomburg stuff. It's just great.
Hmm.
I do love this stuff.
Hmm.
Um, here is the Pyroman is Schomburg is drawing, and here they have poison, highly concentrated, and they're at the city reservoir. Armed guards on duty, and they're all tied up. And so here they are, these Japanese guys with full uniform, with rising sun armbands, and they're going to pour it into the reservoir, and then Pyroman is putting the zam on them. And these books. I was very fortunate to get all of these books that you're seeing early, so it's just, yeah, it's a wonderful thing to have. Um, and Now this is we're later in the day now on Startling, just like Alan
Hmm.
was saying. So this is a Schomburg cover, but it's a departure. But you look at her mouth, you see how the lipstick is, how it's almost like it's lit. I'm
Hmm.
not sure exactly, but it's these are not as grand, but it's more character centric.
Schomburg did all of his own coloring, though, right? Or, except
No,
for
he
in the
didn't.
Marvels. I know in the Marvels he didn't.
No, he didn't, because that the ones that are accurate, probably he did. The ones that are not accurate drove him crazy.
Okay. I was wondering about that because it's like where you see the green armbands for the Nazis and stuff like that, where it's like
The
really
pink
a bit,
helmets and
and the pink helmets.
yellow tunics, and the pink machine guns, or
Yeah.
the bright red and green engines. I mean, it's
And the
just, you'll see
purple
it.
red skulls.
That's one of the most egregious. That's one of his biggest villains. And what colorist wouldn't know that it's the Red Skull?
Maybe they're
It's
colorblind. They get the colorblind colorists.
what a Now, isn't that what a great job for a colorblind person is, to be a colorist?
Yeah, I think that was the case.
Now this I
Oh,
have
that
in
one I've
there.
been trying to get. That's such a hard book to get cheaply. It's an expensive book.
This is Graham Ingalls, and I have
Hmm.
this only because it's a startling book. I keep it in with my startlings, but he's tearing the tunic of Wonder Man or whoever is going on
It's not
here, and
just his tunic; he's ripping his flesh.
flesh, and
Hmm.
she's got this wooden board, bondage thing, and she's got the pebbly sort of the fish scale skirt with the star union thing, long
Hmm.
legs akimbo, nice thighs, tummy
Yeah,
showing.
yeah. I've been trying to get that book. That's a good one.
Here is Startling Comics 47, another airbrush cover.
I have that somewhere.
And you'll notice how he gives you all the depth of perspective. That little pink building way out there Where the rocket ship has landed is closer. Then she's on this little hillock. There's a big mountain behind them with stuff on the top. They got this super future building, and they've got a ray blast going and what have you. And she's chained to, I don't really know exactly what she's chained to, but she's chained to something.
I
She's chained to something.
actually don't have that one. I realize. Yeah, it's a good one.
Look at how fine her face is. You see? This is
Hmm.
very, very much, and that's why I call
Well, it's
her,
very pinup model pose too. It's like,
this is why we coined the phrase way back in the day, the Schomburg gal. Because
hmm
she could be a blonde, she could be a redhead, she could be a brunette, she could be a noirette. This is the Schomburg gal. The Schomburg gal appears in various different ways. Here
yeah,
is an
it's one that's right up my alley. But just because it is, I doesn't mean I got every one of them. There's a lot that I still have to collect. Still chasing.
and this to me was to the I won't say the detriment, but this was to the ignorance or ignoring of other targets at the same time. If I had a chance to get a Schomburg book as opposed to some other desirable book, I always went Schomburg. Always. Because I wanted to get as many and as nice as I could, and then I wouldn't have to rebuild or I wouldn't have to upgrade, or which is no fun to do. Here's my last startling, and this is a classic that they've used,
That's a good one.
signed by Zila, where she's jumping out of the craft. She doesn't appear to be terribly concerned by it, but she's got
hmm
her little red panty suit on. And of course, if you're in orbit over the Earth with Saturn close by, it makes sense that you would be wearing something like this.
Of course.
And there's Lance Lewis, space detective. Now you'll notice that star on his tunic. You see that?
Yeah.
That matches the star that was on the girl's skirt on the Graham Ingalls cover. Do you remember?
Oh, okay.
Same thing. Now, I had other Submariners that went away. I had quite a few, and that's when I learned my lesson not to sell. I had several Submariners, earlier ones that I sold. This one didn't sell, thank goodness. Um, but again, look at the motor of the landing craft, red and yellow.
I don't think it
And
was a two-part story. I just think it's they had the same star.
yes, they had the same. No, not the same story, just the same star. I think that it's a visual cue for the character.
Yeah.
Star Patrol or Space Detectives or whatever. So they got red machine guns, blue helmets, yellow backpacks. The camo shirt and stuff is correct.
hmm
But here are these poor guys, and look at all these landing craft have been turned over by the Submariner, and the bullets are bouncing off of his eyes. And
Wow.
people always ask, why does Submariner have a triangular head? And I think
hmm
it looks like a dolphin. It
So
finally
you think
occurred
it's
to me.
like water dynamic?
I think that it is like the dolphin that's not a bottlenose porpoise or bottlenose dolphin, but the dolphins like they have for the Secret Service for submarines where they have the flat face and they cut
hmm
the water. That's what he has, a dolphin's head. That's why he did that. Now some of them are more pyramidal. I mean, they look like a top basically. They've gone a bit too far. But this is the way that Schomburg would do it.
Mm.
Cool cover.
Yeah.
What
Very cool.
what No,
I
I've got more to
I
go.
no. I
Can
said
I?
very. I said very cool cover.
Oh, thank you. One of the titles that you don't really see that much, and again is another standard Nedor, is Wonder Comics. And here is Wonder Comics #1.
That's a hard book to get too.
And
Yeah.
again, it's signed Schomburg right there below the Jeep. And these guys are laughing as Hitler and Tojo are tied up, and both the Japanese flag and the Nazi flag are being tromped on by the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper was a student at the Sorbonne or whatever in Paris, and when the Germans marched in, they captured him and they threw him into a concentration camp. And he then basically was strong enough and got stronger and stronger, working out, doing all the cracking rocks or whatever, Arbeit, Mach Frei, whatever they were doing. He escaped, and then he said, I'm going to make the Nazis pay. And he came up with this costume where he has a short sword and a pistol. And then that really, Schomburg came up, and it's the very first, hello, MT.
Yeah, I figured you'd know
I
that
have
name.
to
So,
hold on just a second. MT, this came back.
beautiful.
I apologize breaking in. This came back. I bought this from MT at auction, and he thought I was going to get, the chances are I was going to get an 8.5 on this rarity. It came back a 9.4.
Oh, wow.
I'll talk about it later sometime, MT, but I wanted you to know that it came back, and this was issue 67 of 499, and there weren't 499 because a lot of them were damaged in printing, and this is the grail for the Superman Batman. I apologize breaking character. Anyway, but this is a tough book to get.
Hmm.
The next one that is the one that stands out. There's several really cool. There's one that bombers. The number 2 has bombers and other cool stuff. This one is issue number 5, and this one is an American civilian camp that is being run by the Japanese. And now the Grim Reaper, they are basically flamethrowing Americans in their at this camp and burning them alive and throwing them into a pit. And he's not
Wow.
having any of it. Isn't that just, it's heinous propaganda. This
Hmm.
is a classic propaganda cover during World War II. Also, it says, buy more bonds and stamps for victory, because we needed, the different loans that were going on at the time. But the survival rate in a German prison of war camp was almost 70%. The survival rate in a Japanese prisoner of war camp was not quite 30%. The Japanese had no use for people who had lost face and had lost and given up rather than kill themselves. And the
Hmm.
Japanese would also, when they were going to die, would take their pants off. So when they was shot. So you always see these pictures of the Japanese with their gonads hanging out because it's some spiritual sake thing. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they had to censor. That's part of their cultural thing. But if you see the real pictures of what they found when, like in Okinawa and Guadalcanal and a lot of those, is really, really something else. Here is Wonder Comics
Did
number
you see that?
8,
The survival rate in the Allied camps is 95%.
and the survival rate, because we didn't do that to them. And they say, well, we're just as bad as the Nazis. And people say Nazis now. I will say one thing. The people who say Nazis now don't know shit. Period.
Hmm.
That's all I'll say. Uh-oh, I have to go.
You have to go. Okay,
I'll
I'll
be
do
right
my
back.
round while you'll come
Yeah,
back.
go
Okay.
ahead. Hello. Hi.
So while he's getting his mail. He's getting the mail. Probably a bunch of books came in. He's always getting something or other. I'm gonna show my last stack of books. That'll probably give him enough time to get back. I have a few Wonder comics as well. I really like the series. I like the airbrush covers from it. This is probably my favorite, one of my favorite airbrush covers from the run, where she's just like attached to this electrode. You got Wonder Man coming in, trying to rescue her. Electricity is coming through it. It's just a really great cover. Not sure if you guys can see it that well, but I'm going to try to make it less reflective. Okay, and this is Tara the space pirate. She's she's got this laser foil. It's like a foil but with a laser. And then she's fighting this weird monster guy. And her I think his name is Robin. He's always like, Alex Schomburg always liked to have the woman in the front and the hero in the back, way in the back, never going to get there in time, uh, coming to rescue. So I think that one's. And I'll show you my startling. So I don't have that many wonders that are not graded. So a lot of my books are graded, but I do have a few. This is my startling. I actually got this from Alex the Comic Hoarder. He sold me this for a really great price. I was quite happy. Again, another interesting book. This one I thought was really cool. This is a like a sawfish, but the saw is the wrong way. Normally it's like it's horizontal, and Alex Schomburg, I guess they didn't really have many sawfishes to, uh, you know, to use as as references. So he put it vertical instead of horizontal. I thought that was interesting. It's an alien sawfish. Maybe it's an alien sawfish. But yeah, it's just a really cool one. I like the fact that it's been shot and there's blood kind of pouring out of it. That's a really nice touch. I like that they're in this weird bubble thing. I just really like this one. I was trying to get this one for the longest time, and then out of the blue, Alex is like, "Oh, I need some money to buy some cool comic." Like, I was like, "Okay, I'll buy whatever you have." So he sold me this one, so I was quite happy about that. Now my big startling, and Stephen had it in his background, is this one, the Bender cover. And I was actually talking to Bill Morrison, the guy that was involved with Futurama with Matt Groening, and he confirmed that this is the inspiration for Bender. So yeah, so
Bender,
this
Bender is the pretender. This is the quill. Bender is an homage. Bender ain't nothing but Bender being this is the quill right here.
yeah, so this is the inspiration, and this is one of those books that really showcases Alex Schomburg's skill with the airbrush, where he could create that sort of metallic look on Bender's robot-y, exoskeleton. I'm not sure what they call it. Uh,
Armor.
Armor. You got the girl in bondage. I always liked the girl in the red dress and
The
all
Schomburg gal. Again, it's the
Schomburg,
Schomburg gal.
Schomburg gal. I mean, his girls are kind of cartoony, but at the same time, just have some sexy appeal to them. Sexy appeal. And then again, as I said, the hero is always just sort of late to the party, and he's always in the back. So you get that.
Paul, Paul Lukianenko, I want to say that I honor your father for his service. I thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, what do you
It's
say?
My dad was 3.5 years in a Nazi concentration camp. Unfortunately, he has passed now. God
Okay.
bless him, Paul, and God bless
Wow.
you. And I appreciate you sharing that very much with us.
Beautiful.
It's important to honor that. And I am my grandfather was in the first war as an ambulance driver and saw the worst things that could possibly happen to a human body. And he did that for months and months and months and lived a long life after. But I mean, that it does affect you. And my wife's father was in a B-24 Liberator bomber and also had situations from being that he wasn't shot down. He was very fortunate, but he was one of the three bombing raids of Ploesti for the oil fields in Romania, and it
Hmm.
was absolutely ungodly. The survival rate for our men was so low. But this is the thing: when people don't understand what the Nazis were, and they don't understand what the Japanese were, to throw those terms around, I'd made my point. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Okay, back. I'm not sure if he did all of the alley oops,
No,
but
he did not. No, you can
I
tell
don't
that's
think this
I don't believe
this
that's
does
not a
not look
Schomburg.
like Alex Schomburg, but
No,
it's just mixed in with my alley oops. I just have one other alley oop, which is an Alex Schomburg. This is an Alex
that one
Schomburg.
is. I always say with that, it's good to be oop.
Yeah, yeah. This one's really nice. I like these ones where you got the harem girls.
You can tell
So
from the girls right away that that's Schomburg. Right
oh
away.
yes, yes, yes. This one is obviously Schomburg, but the previous one I didn't think.
He did
Um,
covers for Boots too.
yes. I actually don't know where I put my boots. To tell you the truth, I have a few
Look under the
boots.
bed.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another Schomburg, and you can see I paid $10 Canadian and got a discount, so it was $8 Canadian, which is about 5, $6 for an Alex Schomburg cover. I thought that was pretty awesome. These Bronco Bills really don't go for much. I'm not sure why. I don't think I think they're actually pretty cool. And so this next one again is a
Yes, it is,
mixture.
JX. Yes, it is.
What?
Yes, that is the
Oh, that was
comic
the
he just
bargain.
showed. That was Schomburg.
Yeah, it was
J
Schomburg. You can see in the corner.
It's
Alex
signed
Schomburg.
Alex Schomburg.
Signed Alex Schomburg.
No, you
Yep.
can, and you can tell later on what he did. When I get to the ends of my Black Terrors, you're going to see the exact same kind of thing.
Now I'm not sure. Did he do all the Captain Easy or not?
No,
So I
he
think
did
this is
some.
somebody else.
That's somebody else because you look at the wall-eyed gal.
Yeah,
That's and you look at the guy's face. That I don't believe that is Schomburg. No,
but I think so. That's number 10. I think he did do number 12.
that is Schomburg.
Yeah. So this
You
is
look at his face and you look at her face and the way she's set up.
yeah.
That
This
you
is
can,
her. Her pose is very Schomburgery.
yeah.
Schomburgy. Yeah. Matt said something here. What's
Oh, look at that! He gave him keep him flying, boys. He
keep them
gave you
flying, boys?
a
Very
good, gave you
nice.
an A okay.
Thank you, by the way, Matt. You're always so generous to us. Okay, I'm gonna now. That was all of my raw Schomburgs. Actually, I have more. I realized that there's two boxes that also have Schomburgs in them that I
Well,
didn't bring. But
I now
but we
my
yeah.
alley oops, and my Captain Easies and stuff I have stored somewhere else. These are the big boys that I have. I
How about
mean,
you
I
show
only
the
have
big boys? Show the the Mile High collection ones. I think
I will be
to wrap
showing.
up. Yeah.
No, we can I show some more before I get to them?
No, I just go right into them just because of
Okay.
time. Yeah.
All right. Boy, all these fighting Yanks. I'll have to show these some
So
other
did your
time.
mail come? Did you get some new books in the mail there?
5 boxes.
Oh wow. Okay,
5 boxes.
that's
I had to sign because one of the books that came is one that I got from Jordan, and then there's another one, but I won't tell it. And you guys will have to just watch
wait till next week.
next Monday and see.
Yeah, it'll be some big ones.
Excuse me. All right, here we go. This is a mile high. In 1988, my friend Mark Wilson had contacted and was in conversations with Ernie Gerber himself. Ernie Gerber of the Gerber Photo Journal. And Ernie basically went around the world and he and his wife took pictures of these books wherever they were. Predominantly, overwhelmingly, all of it was the Mile High collection that he took pictures of because he wanted to have the best possible picture of the book for his photo journal. And
Mm-hmm.
so rather than have just any old picture, which is sometimes that's what you'll see, is any old picture of a book, like in Comic Book Plus, where they show the covers, they have the
And
interior.
then, yeah, and there's sometimes shoddy looking. It's not the great. Yeah.
They're all chewed up and whatever. They're a copy of the book, but they're not a pretty copy of the book. He
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be sure, and it took him years to do this. It cost him his marriage, and then he died. Um, so it was a labor of love, and his scarcity index was the best part of it because if you put a price, oh, good for you. That would be K to Z.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, um, I have I think I had about 6 or 7 sets of those that I bought because I wanted to have them.
Mm-hmm.
But and that was instrumental in my proving that the Sandman's first appearance was in Fair 39
Mm-hmm.
because of the dates of delivery on the Mile High books from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
In any event, so these are he made a deal. Ernie had 2 sets of Mile High books that he owned. He owned the Mile High run and he owned the Black Terror run. And my dealer friend would not break them up. And he says you can choose one or the other, but you can't have both. You can't have both. You can only get one.
Why wouldn't he let you buy both?
Because he just didn't. And I don't know. It's just one of those things. I would have bought them both, but I
Yeah.
didn't.
Okay.
But I liked the covers. I liked the covers on the Black Terrors better. Years went by, and then he broke up the set, and I was first
Okay.
in. And
Okay.
then there's another story with that, and I didn't go after any of the other ones but the war covers. I should have got the 9, which was his first appearance, but it was too expensive, and I didn't want to do it. I should have bought it, but I didn't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, and then there's a whole other story, and I only got a few of them because I was with one of my friends who turned out to not be such a friend.
So these Black Terrors are the ones that are actually featured in the Gerber Guide.
These books that I am showing you, I'm going to start with exciting.
Okay.
These are the exciting Mile Highs. These are the actual books that are pictured in the Gerber Photo Journal are my books. So
Oh, that's cool.
when you look at the photo journal, I seem to have cut a wide swath here, all this stuff, but I've been at this for so long. It's just like something would happen in a year, and then years and years go by. Back in the 90s, I wrote for the comic book marketplace, but that's years ago. That's like, what, 30 years ago,
Hmm.
that stuff went on. And I mean, you live your life and you do these things, but I've loved comics all this time. I love comics from the time I was sentient. I learned to read by comics, and since Alan, we don't want to take too much time, I'm going to start. Here is exciting comics. This is the Mile High copy of number 32.
I would imagine these are top of the census, but they are
They are
ungraded.
they are raw. They are untouched, and they are probably of the only Mile High comics that are not in plastic.
Hmm.
And at such time as I shuffle this mortal coil and I sell these, they will be sold. Then, if the other person has the option of not having to slab them, that they can basically leave them as they were from Edgar Church
So
without having them.
does it have like certification, or how do you prove that these are miles highs?
You'll notice the date up there by the E of exciting C2-4.
Okay.
That's the key. They have different codes that are very demonstrably the Mile High Run.
Okay. Very cool.
And the guys that know. And matter of fact, a lot of the big dealers already have known for. I've had these for years. 1988, they've known I've had them. I presented them in the comic book marketplace. I've talked about them. I beat the drum for the Black Terror because I think he's just a very, very cool character. But anyway,
Yeah. The
go,
only problem is to get these graded would cost a fortune.
to get these graded now would cost a fortune. Now
Yeah.
it's not that I couldn't swing it, and if I was going to sell them, and they said you should slab them for the best amount of money. I don't know about that, but I have them. They're
Hmm.
mine. They've been mine for decades, and here they live, and they're beautiful to see. And I don't have, and I'm not going to open them up necessarily, but if I wanted to, I could. And
Hmm.
and over the years, I have opened one or two and read the insides. The smell of these books on the inside is brand new virgin newsprint and ink.
Wow.
There is nothing that smells like these books do. They smell absolutely so sweet as to be, you just can't imagine how fresh and bright and clean these books are.
Very impressive.
It's just, and that's before there was any grading, because that didn't happen until what, 2000. So you have these books. This was, by knowing it was a Mile High pedigree, then you knew what you were going to get. If it's slabbed, you have a grade on it. You know, you got the grade. But with this is the kind of thing, and I am a curator, and I don't mind being a curator, but I just love them for what intrinsically they thrill me. So that's the first. Here is Exciting Comics number 35, The Mile High. Again with the road grader.
Oh wow.
This
Jeez.
time we're getting them. But look at the color strike on this book. The edges are absolutely perfectly square.
I mean,
There's
it looks brand new.
all of these books look brand new.
Hmm.
Another
Wow.
Mile High. This is issue number 36. Again, they are not as frenetic, but they are more character driven.
Hmm.
Poison gas shells. And Schomburg's name is right on the box, see?
Yeah, yeah. That's funny.
And he's got the guy right by the throat.
Yeah, wow.
And Tim has got a M1 and he's shooting the guy right in the jaw. Now this one is high grade, but it is not a Mile High, but it is a very nice copy of this book.
Hmm. Is Black Terror one of your favorite characters from the Golden Age? Or?
The
Yeah.
costume. He's a
Costume is like
druggist.
very
He's a
interesting.
druggist. He's a druggist. And he could get hit on the. If you've ever read any of the Black Terror stories, he can bullets bounce off of him. He's tough as hell. He can move ships. He can do all this stuff. You tap him in the back of the head, out like a light, and then they tie him. And then they tie him up. And
Okay.
uh, what he did was the Terror. It was ridiculous. He couldn't fly, but he's always up in the air somehow. Uh,
Okay.
and he and Tim, Schomburg was somewhat loosey goosey about masks and stuff. It's just it's so charming for what it is. And
Hmm.
these books, of course, were owned by Ernie Gerber. Here is issue number 40, The Mile High.
Oh, that's a really nice one. I mean, they're stunning. I mean, the whites are white. The colors are just really, really sharp.
You just they say that the Promise collection was great and all this other stuff. I have to say that for as important, the Mile High collection was the Beatles to music for the
Hmm.
comic industry. I mean, it's just that how big it was. There are other pretenders to it, the San Francisco, the Larson, there are any number of other ones that are the Promise collection. There are any number of them. But the one that changed the grading system, the one that changed the pricing, the ones that changed everything, and also that these books even existed was the Mile High collection. Edgar Church changed the firmament in comics. So to own Mile High copies is still, in my mind, the absolute pinnacle of collecting comics and for how important it was for the hobby. And I just happened to be old enough and in a position to get them that I was able to do it. And I did it with a trade credit for books that I
Hmm.
was paying 25 cents and 50 cents, and I made a bunch of money on appreciation, and I got to turn it into Mile High's Black Terrors before they had gone up. Before these were $175 to $200 a throw.
Wow. Yeah, add two zeros to that. Maybe. Yeah.
Now this is not a Mile High, but it's a very very tough book, and I love the kamikaze ones. He has it on the wings, Suicide Squadron, and because he couldn't quite figure out how to make the skull and crossbone, and he couldn't show his chest. He put the skull and crossbone on his back.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
interesting.
funny? Isn't that funny?
Wow.
So it's a great exciting cover, really a great one. Here is the one that you showed. This is
Oh,
the Mile
yes.
High copy of this book.
The yellows are much sharper. I see the difference.
And you see Tim with the bat about to brain this guy. And you see the red and the blue at his knees. Red and blue, in other words, color, where the electricity is having a problem because he got clocked. You got the springs and the gears coming out. Isn't
Wow.
that isn't that a wonderful cover?
Yeah, it's
And
great.
you'll notice, and again, note C24, see up at the top?
Okay.
It's
And
very
what do
distinctive.
those numbers mean?
Those were the marks that were put on at the newsstand that church went to religiously.
Oh.
And so
Okay.
the markings from that particular newsstand for these books that when they discovered them in his basement in the shelving system that he himself built.
Okay.
This is not a Mile High, but it's a cool cover. The Rhino cover, it's a painted cover.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
airbrush cover.
I have that as a graded copy. That's nice.
This one is probably this is a Loon book actually. This is a
Oh, nice.
Loon copy of this book that I got
Very
from Dave
nice.
Alexander. And everyone say it's the Rhino cover. It's the Rhino cover. Well, what is the Rhino cover? Well, it's the Rhino, and the Rhino in his horn. He's gonna
He's
take his
gonna get
horn
her
and he's
right in the
gonna
butt.
and he's gonna hit her right in the butt. It's the Rhino cover. I said, okay, it's cool. I'll take it.
It is really cool. I like
You
that one for
notice
a long
how
time.
you notice how the colorist did not put the yellow all the way to her body, but he allowed a white aura around her to show motion. You see, as she's
Wouldn't
swinging. You
this be
see,
Alex Schomburg that colored this?
it might have been on this one.
Because it's airbrush, right?
It's
So
airbrushed, yeah.
yeah, really well done.
Okay, and this is the one that you showed also.
Yeah. Very nice.
and that's not Mile High. Now comes the Black Terrors, and then we're done.
Okay.
Um, I think that Alan Ulmer did this cover to Black Terror #1. It is
Hmm.
the Mile High copy. It is not Schomburg. It's Alan Ulmer. And Ulmer did a lot of really good covers. If you've ever the Saint covers,
Spirit, yeah, the Saint, yeah, the Saint is the one I meant.
uh, Al Ulmer is very, very good. He's not uniformly fantastic, but generally it's really good stuff. This
Hmm.
is the Black Terror #1.
Very nice.
And there's a guy up there that's got a gal by the throat. And the pursuit plane that he's on a tank. Now, what are all these civilians doing around here where a fixed landing gear Japanese plane is coming? And this is at a time during the war, the M1 Garand did not go to the war right away because we didn't have enough of them. And they were carrying Springfield rifles from the First World War, and they were carrying, in some instances, Model 1917 Enfields, which were the Model 1917 rifle, '06, which was a English P17 or P13 that was rechambered from 303. Remington was making them and Winchester were making them. So they rechambered them for 30-06 because they could just keep the machines going and make these that Americans could carry. More Americans in the First World War carried the Winchester and Remington and Eddystone model 1917 Enfields than they did in the 1903 Springfield, which is and then the Springfield was basically we swiped the Mauser design, and Germany sued us during the war for copyright infringement. We said go pound sand, but after the
Yeah,
but
copyright
after
infringement when you're at war with them is kind of
but
funny.
after the war, they did make a settlement with Mauser because it was a legitimate. We did steal it from them. So
Wow.
all that being said, he's got an M1, which is very early that he would have an M1 to hit this prop. And when the Battle of Britain was going on, the M1 Garand was sent to Britain before we were even giving them to our own troops,
Wow.
because if England fell, then we'd have to slug it up all the way from Africa, all up the soft gut or the tough old gut to get to Germany, to get into Central Europe if England fell. And the Brits hated them. They didn't use them. They had a lot of 303. They had a lot of 30-06 Browning, 30 caliber Browning machine guns in the Hurricanes and Spitfires, and the 303 round wasn't as good, and so that they used this, and so the same ammunition that they used in the aircraft machine guns is the same ammunition you use in an M1 Garand. Just like the Thompson uses the 45 ACP automatic Colt pistol round that you do in the Thompson is the same that you use in the semi-automatic pistol, and so they would mark these, they called them Lend-Lease rifles, and the
Hmm.
Brits put them in storage, and then years later they opened up these warehouses and they sold them back to us. And that's one of the ones that I owned in my collection that I sold. I had a Lend-Lease Garand from 1942, and that was before our troops even had them, which is
Wow.
it's crazy. Here is Black Terror #2. This is the first Schomburg cover. Look, there's the Schomburg gal. Very
In bondage.
in trouble plenty, and the tiger and the Bedouins coming in, and there you go. This is #2.
So he did most of the run, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's one that isn't him, I will sing out. If there is, I don't think there is. It was just the #1 that he didn't do. I think he
Hmm.
probably was overtaxed. He didn't have the time to do it, and then
Hmm.
they got Ulmer to do it. This is Black Terror #3, and of course Tim. That's all you ever knew him as, is Tim.
Hmm.
Has no mask. And look
Oh,
up at
wow.
the top by the B, you see? There's a C29.
Oh, okay, so this is Mile High.
It's Mile High. All of these are Mile Highs
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now.
Very nice.
I hope,
So
ladies.
the C is for church, is what somebody was saying.
No, no, no. It's the mark of the newsstand. It's not for church. C is their designation. It might be March. It might be, I have no idea. C might be the morning shift. I mean,
Okay.
I have no idea the morning edition or they had C and D they would have.
Okay.
Uh, C, and then this one's September 24th is when this came out. And here is issue number 4. And in this one, neither one of them has a mask.
Oh, that's weird. Why aren't they wearing their masks?
They did not consult me, Alan.
That's really weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy these. I probably am not going to show these again for a very, very long time. These live in a box, very carefully stored in a climate-controlled and humidity-controlled area, so that there is no possible way that there could be any kind of infringement or denigration of any sort to the book. And so I'm not going to be able to show. I don't propose to show these again in the foreseeable future. But I wanted to do this on this show for you, and I wanted to do it with Alan, my good friend, because our Monday specials mean something to us. We want to bring something to you that is special to you to enjoy. It really is, and it sounds corny, but I do mean it sincerely. It pleases me no end to share these with you, because it's something that someone who will appreciate and enjoy something that you generally don't get to see. And I'm lucky enough and fortunate enough, and I'm blessed enough, and I know it, that I had the foresight to be able to get these and hold on to them. And now I have them, and I couldn't be happier to. But these are of the crown jewels in my entire collection, along with the slabs that I've shown you. But this was my number one goal, was to get some. Hello, MT. Thanks, MT.
Oh,
That's
thank you,
very
MT.
nice.
Yeah, very nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew, very much. That's very kind of you. Here is Black Terror number 5. And they're printing bonds now. Japanese counterfeit bond plant number 4.
Oh, jeez.
Isn't that hysterical?
That's weird.
So Schomburg. So Schomburg.
It's propaganda. It's just craziness. Yeah, that's awesome.
And a lot of the Japanese had Thompsons. I don't know where they got they're carrying Nambu pistols, but they're not. But they always have Thompsons. Schomburg liked drawing the Thompson. I mean, that's basically what it boiled down to.
It's a cool gun.
But you look at the printing press. I mean, the detail on this, the composition of this
shows his background in doing those manuals, right?
He brought all of that to his covers.
Mm-hmm.
And these are standard Nedor, so they are not as frenetic, but they are very beautifully done for the character. Here is issue number 6, again with the flying bombs. These are flying torpedoes they're flying now.
Oh, very nice.
And you see, there it is, C310 or C340 or something. The designations on them. And if you look in the price guide, you'll see.
They'll see the same, yeah.
You'll see, and all the books. If you look at all the books in there, you'll see the same designation, because that's what.
These are all from the guide. That's just so cool.
Edgar Church, a frustrated artist, and in the back. But look in the background. You've got the aircraft carrier taking on aircraft, and they're taking on, the Nazis are involved in this one, where they're taking these flying torpedoes and they're shooting. They're coming after them. This was the reason why this cover now, issue 7, between Exciting Comics and the Black Terror, this cover is the one that made me go, specifically because, among others, but this is the one that I wanted because this cover was in the run of the Black Terror. This is number 7. And I just think this cover is one of the best Black Terror covers that there is.
What's going on with the guy at the bottom? Yeah,
the guy on the bottom is pulling his plane up as he's being killed into the machine gun fire, where it's marked Schomburg on just above the gun port on the wing. Again, he's got a 100-round drum on the Thompson, hosing him down on the top, and he's got the aviator above by the neck, and Tim is holding on and firing also into the cockpit of the other one.
Wow.
Isn't this just an incredible cover?
Yeah, so much going on.
I absolutely, this cover, I truly love this cover.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I told you about the red rockets. Thanks, AG. I told you about the red rockets, and here we go again.
Oh yeah, I saw
Here
that.
come the rockets again. Now, this is again jet. This is looks like the V1 rocket, and they called it a pulse jet. And what it was basically they called the Brits called them doodle bugs, and they called them buzz bombs. Okay, and what happened was this: they came up with a pulse jet engine, and it was the first use of drones, basically, in a mass in 44, early in 44. And what they did was they launched these things, and it was if you've seen pictures of the V1, they make a sound that kind of goes
Yeah.
like that,
Hmm.
and they would go about 475 miles an hour. And Britain had to basically step up and modify hurricanes with Griffin engines and with much modified and stripped down light-weighted Supermarine Spitfires with high-end Merlin modified Merlin engines to go fast enough to shoot these things down before they landed. Now, what they did was this: they only had so much fuel in them,
They
and they
just
had
fast.
just enough fuel to get it over London.
Hmm.
And then what they would do is, and if you go on YouTube and you Google, I mean, and you YouTube and you put in the search thing, V1 rocket attack, you'll see actual footage of these things going along and what they sounded like. And they show the people looking up as these things make this noise, and then they stop when the fuel runs out, and that means that the bomb is dropping. And
Hmm.
then a matter of seconds later, boom, off they go. Then they went to the V1 that went 1,700 miles an hour, and that was all she wrote, and we blew them up before they could get them. They were trying to come up with rockets that could reach us as well. That was Dr. Werner von Braun, who, once the rockets are up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department, says Werner von Braun. So this is it, and we're at Supreme Allied Headquarters now with these buzz bombs coming in. Here is issue number 9, where the Japanese are basically having the servicemen dig their own graves to murder them, shoot them in the back of the head.
Wow.
Look at the color strike on these things. Uh, yeah, the V1s were not terribly late. There were a lot of people were killed by the V1s, more so than the V2s. It was a
Hmm.
terror weapon, is what it was. It was designed as a terror weapon. They wanted the sound. Same thing. They put the air sirens on the Stukas, the dive bombers that were based on an American design when they were trying to blow up the radar stations and all of the bases. But they were so slow that once we found them, they had to stop using them because they just basically were like the Grumman, they were like the TBF Avenger flying in low to without any kind of support against Japanese carriers and battleships. They just got blown out of the Vindicators. They were all blown out of the sky. They were so slow. But anyway, there you go. This is all connected in the war. There you go. Here is Black Terror number 10. Champ, come on! Oh God, he brought me another toy. Black Terror number 10. And here we've got a flamethrower, and we've got they're in port. It's probably this is in France, as you can see, as we're bringing our transport over, and they're trying to blow up 50 caliber shells, and with the flamethrower, and the Nazis are trying, and we've got the marine, the sailors, the SPs are right there to take them on. Look at the detail of that ship in the background.
I know, it's really awesome. There's so much going. Actually, that's a fairly detailed cover. I mean, compared
It
to,
is.
yeah.
It is. Here is issue number 11, and this one, again, another mile high.
Wow.
A bank cover, because the war covers
This
the
is
war.
this is the end of the war's over now,
We're
right?
coming. We're coming to the end of the war, and I think this is the last war cover. This is a heinous cover. This is heinous.
Hmm.
So here you have a scientist with a giant television. This is in 1945. Televisions, they didn't. No one really had televisions, and it's in color. Again, the science fiction, Schomburg's attention to detail.
Hmm.
So here is the color broadcast of them killing, and these little kids are going, gee, isn't it fun? And they're killing Japanese.
Well,
Isn't it
it's
wild?
entertaining to kids.
It's and the little girls plugging your ears because it's so loud as all the Japs are screaming and dying. And
Wow.
look at the professor guy. Yes, we have to have this all dialed in correctly.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? These are
Yeah, I mean,
so
these
much
are
fun.
really awesome. These are really awesome books.
I haven't looked at these in years. This is really cute. Look at the color strike on this green one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in the sign when they say slow, slow children, but if
It's
you
slow
take out the
children.
spaces, slow children, that's it. Watch out, there are slow children.
Hmm.
So here you had that was that bright green one. So what do they do for the next one? They put a pinky red one.
Oh, wow. It's weird that they weren't standardized with the trade dress. It's just whatever colors they wanted.
Well, the Black Terror would pretty much be black and yellow, but they would reverse it. I'll show you.
Hmm.
Like the next one. No, the trade dress is the same all the way through.
But I mean,
The
the
black,
background on the trade dress is my point
right?
there.
The black and the red. But here's this: radar to the moon, U.S. Army, liquid fire, TNT.
Wow. He's good at labeling everything.
Alex Schomburg. Alex Schomburg. He's our guy.
Hmm.
They never show. Wow, you ask these questions. Why don't they show through the masks? It's because the Phantom, I think, was the very first one that didn't have pupils in his eye mask, and he was before. I think he's before Superman too. Here is just a very lovely where he just concentrates on the Black Terror with all. Schomburg said that drawing making a black costume look good was really hard to do. And so all of that white, all that little line work that he did all around the edges, you see,
Hmm.
to make the thing accent correctly. And he does like the circus because he ends up in the circus quite often. Here we are in the circus again. This is not a Mile High, but it's a very high grade copy of Black Terror number 17. And the Schomburg gal is being filled in with plastic.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that fun?
Mm. That's a really good one. I like the bondage covers.
I never knew that about you.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Here's another Mile High. This is number 18.
Okay.
This one is hysterical. So, the Black Terror's apartment where he lives. You know, the secret identity, you always have to guard your secret identity and your secret lair and as far as what you do. You don't want to advertise it. You don't want to make anything seem like it's to draw attention to yourself. So here's a thug who's come through the door and is shooting the bedding where the terror is behind the door. Look at the door, the Black Terror. How in the hell did he find me?
Oh, you never
And then
know.
look, he's got Black Terror blankets and a Black Terror nightstand lamp.
Well, the Black Terror had to have his own merch.
He had his own merch. Isn't it hysterical? I mean, for
Yeah.
heaven's sake! And he threw the shadow up on the back on the back wall. Schomburg did. One of
Hmm.
the things that he always did so well was he would bend proportion, and that was one of his signature things that he could do. He could bend proportion to do what he wanted it to do. He would make the heroes bigger than life, like that Submariner cover. It's just wonderful stuff. This is a very good issue, number 20, which is there are nails on that brick that she's kneeling on. If you look down there, you see there are
Oh,
nails.
yes. Yeah,
She's
I've been
kneeling.
trying to get that cover. That I really like that one.
She's kneeling on nails.
Hmm.
And the Black Terror was not averse to using a gun. Batman must never use a gun. The Black Terror says, "No problem, I'll kill him."
Mm. Well, he had a machine gun a few times.
He's shooting Thompsons all the time.
Mm.
I must not use guns. What are you, an idiot? You can reach out a lot farther with a Thompson, can't you?
Mm.
This is a great character study. Look at the face of the crook.
Oh, yeah, I have that one. That's a good one.
And there again, they're at the circus, and she's got the little boots with spurs. I don't know why she'd have to have spurs
I have no idea.
the horses at the, but they have the amusement rides behind. But look at the line. See the line work on the Black Terror.
I
This is
know
what I'm
it's
talking about. See
really shows his muscles. Yeah.
every one of those lines to accent all of that
Mm.
one by one by one by one. And Schomburg was the guy that would take the time. He was meticulous at doing his covers. He was absolutely meticulous about it. This is not a mile high, but it's a good one. Hello, champ. This is not a mile high, but it's a fun one where you got a crook going after jewelry.
Mm. Green dress is quite nice, actually.
Hello, champ. We're getting close to the end. Here is issue number 23. And look at this. Look at this study. It's almost like Gus Ricka faces down below. Look at those faces. Don't they
Yeah,
look like Gus Ricka?
yeah, they're kind of wonky and weird. Yeah.
Yeah, he took some time with the faces. Again, it's a character. These are more of a character study. And of course, there's the Schomburg gal,
Hmm. She looks like
and he
she's about
signs
to fall
Zila.
off.
He signs Zila right there on the green, the corner of the room,
Hmm.
up in the corner. This one I don't believe is a mile high either, but a nice copy of it
Oh
because
yeah,
it wasn't in with the mile highs. But this one, where she's in bondage,
I picked
and
that up last year, just last
oh,
year.
good for you.
Hmm.
Um, just a great, purple shirt with a yellow tie. Did your mother dress you? And he's got him by the neck, and this also is not a mile high, but a nice copy. This is when the Black Terror ran for president,
Oh, well, as you do. Yeah.
like you do.
They always like to have the character becoming president. I think
It's a trope.
it's a trope. Yeah.
Okay, now this one is a mile high. The last two, these are the last two issues of the in the title,
Hmm.
and this is a mile high copy.
Okay. Very nice. And that's issue number 20.
20. This is issue 26, and issue number 27 is the last issue in the run, and it is also this is also a mile high. When you were showing those cowboy ones, this is a cowboy one.
Oh, very interesting.
And so you've got running dove being harassed by the galoot, and you will notice that Schomburg has taken license with the image of the skull and crossbones on the costume. That's the only time that he had it look like that.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
All of these are treasures, are my treasures. But anyway,
Hmm.
those are them. And I have one more thing to show you.
Okay.
A rarity that happened, and this was not too long ago. I couldn't even believe it. Some guy somehow found proof sheets signed by Ernie Gerber of pages in the photo journal.
Oh wow. Okay.
And here is a signed, down at the bottom, Ernie Gerber for the exciting run and my exciting books. Many of all the exciting mile highs, except for the robot one, are pictured here. So
Oh
I have
wow.
the pictures of my. This is
Your
the
own books.
actual. This is the color. This is the proof sheet for the page that went into the journal that shows my excitings.
That's very fitting that that's in your collection. You know that you have the picture of the pictures of your book. Yeah, that's
The
cool.
proof sheet. It's
The
exactly
proof
like
sheet.
the page,
Yeah.
except you can see the where they basically are working out the colors. You see the
Hmm.
colorways.
Yep. 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 Very cool.
So this is the I wanted to share this with you as well. I haven't shown this before.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had that. That's very nice.
I have a couple more of the Human Torch
Hmm.
pages that were signed by him as well. I don't have any Mile High. The Mile High timelies have changed hands. The guy that was in Comic Heaven, John Verzel, had them, and there was a another fellow that had them, and they were putting them together. And the majority of the Mile High, really high end timelies and Supermans and those have
Hmm.
all had restoration work done on them. They've been cleaned and pressed, and not in the prescribed fashion. So you'll see a lot of the Mile Highs are restored because the people wanted to protect these beautiful books in perpetuity. But these books never went there because Ernie had them and they were not of sufficient value to
Hmm.
justify, they were perfect the way they were, and why gild the lily on a book that doesn't have the same value? And of
Hmm.
course now the things have changed, and there's that. So I want to thank you all very much for putting up with me showing.
Oh no, it's awesome.
I don't show these really at all. This is, I think, only the second time I've even shown my black terrors to anybody, but I wanted to share them here with you on our Monday special because it is a special show, and you're a special audience, and my partner gives me the chance to do this, and we love bringing this stuff to you.
Hmm. Very nice stuff. Wow. So, thanks everyone for hanging out with us for the last almost 2 hours. We went really long today, but hope you guys enjoyed it. I think probably one of our best shows. I think in terms of the just the caliber of books. I mean, they're just amazing. Wow. I'm impressed. I was like sort of absorbing it myself because there's just so many great books. So again, thanks guys. Thanks everyone for watching, and thank you, Stephen. Oh, thank you. One last
Thank you, Adrift. Thank you very
very nice,
much.
very
Appreciate
nice,
it. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
very very nice.
Thank you, Matt and MT, and also
Hmm.
Adrift, very much for doing that.
Thank you.
I think that very kind of you. It helps keep us doing what we're doing, and it's a joy and a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you again. It keeps the lights on. Thank you guys. Bye for now.
See ya.